Here's a California man who basically proves everyone has their price. He's a gambler, and betting plays a big part of his life.
A good 90%.
Brian Zembeck says he would do just about anything to win a bet. So when a friend came to him with a truly outrageous offer, he had to take him up on it. It was a bet he couldn't refuse.
I was bet $100,000 I had to have breast implants as large as a girlfriend's of mine.
And you did it.
Yeah.
You heard it right. Brian went from 0 to 38C for a big payday. Now look closely as he plays a game of indoor golf. You can see the shape of his bosom. So far, Brian's had his implants for 3 years. The bet called for him to have them for 1 year. So yes, he's already pocketed the 100 G's.
Holy son of a man. No, my breast got in my way. No,
You say this is just too weird? Not for a gambler like Brian. You thought getting breast implants was normal?
Well, it was, it's money. Anything to do with money to me is normal. In my world, anything we gamble at is normal. So it's like a job, an everyday job.
Life is a laugh. It's full of fun. And he's definitely one of the fun people.
This is the man who put Brian in a bra. New York City cosmetic surgeon Dr. Felix Schiffman. The two guys are, what else? Gambling buddies. And how funny. Guess how they arrived at payment for surgery.
I said, this is my fee. And we agreed on the fee. But by the time we got finished playing backgammon, I guess he got it almost for free.
Brian went under the knife, and after the surgery was over, this is what Dr. Schiffman told him.
You got beautiful breasts. I just said the face could be improved now. Let's work on the face.
From head to toe, Brian is just fine. At least his wife thinks so. That's right, his wife. Brian was married last year, but for a period of time before he tied the knot, Anita had no idea her husband-to-be wore a bra too.
He never let me hug him, and I was like, why? And then he was like, oh, I'm ticklish or something, and he'll move away.
So how did she find out? By reading a book about wild gambling stories, which has a chapter on Brian's big bet.
I started crying because I guess I was in shock.
Anita got over her shock and married him anyway. Does that bother you, that his breasts are bigger than yours?
No.
No.
No, mine looks much nicer.
There's no telling what Brian's baby daughter might ask him someday about all this, but his gambling buddies, frankly, aren't impressed.
I was a little underwhelmed, actually.
It's kind of a turnoff, to be honest.
On a day-to-day basis, Brian doesn't show off. He wears loose clothing and tight athletic shirts to hide his assets. You don't have any regrets having done this?
No.
No regrets at all?
No.
You've never felt humiliated that you,
No.
as a man, are wearing breast implants? No. For now, Brian has no immediate plans to remove the implants. He says the original bet has been extended to $10,000 a year for each year he keeps them.
This guy may look normal to you, but he's got quite a secret lurking beneath that loose shirt. He goes to catch some rays at poolside, and that's when it hits you. The dude's got breast implants. His name is Brian Zembeck, and his girlfriend, that's her on the left, admits she's a little jealous.
He has a bigger breast than me.
Me? I'm just stunned. So why would a man like Brian get breast implants? Well, it started out as a bet here in Las Vegas. A friend paid him $100,000 to put them in for a year. But why, a decade later, hasn't Brian taken them out?
It is a normal part of my life. It really is. As sick as it is, it's normal.
It's also money in the bank because Brian gets an extra 10 grand for each additional year he keeps the implants. Clearly, this guy marches to the beat of a different drummer. I kept that in mind as he took me shopping
This is nice.
for a sports bra.
Nice.
Can I ask what size you are?
I guess I'm like a 38. I guess like a C.
Wow,
maybe.
okay. You would really wear this bright orange sports bra.
Yeah, I don't care. What do I care?
Wow.
Back home, he's just plain dad to his 13-year-old daughter, Mika.
It's a little weird, obviously.
So maybe the guy known as the boob man isn't a boob at all.
Ta-da!
I love the movie Rosemary's Baby, And I was always very intrigued with how the baby would look, since they never fully showed the baby. And the black crib and everything in the living room was just gorgeous to me. So I always wanted to have a little demon baby in a black crib in my living room. And now I do, so.
It's a collection that might have some people running for the hills. More than 500 dolls, each one scarier than the next. Marilyn Mansfield of New York City has spent tens of thousands of dollars on the uniquely horrifying collection over the last 10 years. She takes care of them like they were her children.
They really are like a part of the family.
Luckily for her, everyone in the house, her husband and 2 children, are also into the collection. Can you imagine how hard it would be to wake up here if you weren't?
The first time I had seen a Crypt Kitty like this one was at a horror convention, and I fell in love with how it looks so kind of demonic but yet cute. And I've always been like into horror movies and stuff like that, so I just thought it was a perfect combination of scary and cute mixed together. And I'm a huge fan of dolls, been collecting them my whole life, so it was like everything in one. This is actually my first handmade Crypt Kitty, they're called. And this is little Marilyn Mansfield that my husband had made to look like me. What intrigues me about the demon babies and the horror babies is that they're complete fantasy. I mean, obviously, you know, babies don't have horns and fangs and things, but, you know, they're just fun. To me, it's just fun, and it's a piece of art, you know, because they are created by hand and all painted by hand. And it's really like, you know, just like a macabre piece of art to me. My horror collection is pretty extensive. I have, I would say, about 20 handmade Crypt Kitties, and they were all within hundreds of dollars. So they do get expensive. Now I make the zombie babies, which are reborns that I kind of zombify. So now I can make my own and stuff. To me, though, Crypt Kitties are the best when it comes to the horns and fangs and everything. So, I mean, if I wanted one like that, I would totally just get another Crypt Kitty. My favorite one is Carol Ann. She's a Crypt Kidlet, and yeah, she was kind of pricey. I got her years ago, and she was $800. The horror-related reborns and the more natural-looking reborns, the same care goes into both of them. I mean, they have to, you know, be dusted, and I change them. The hair has to be brushed, conditioned, that sort of thing. It depends, though, like if they have a wig or rooted hair. It's like all different things. The eyes you might want to clean with like a damp Q-tip. Just little things like that, you know, just to keep them in pristine condition, which I do. So it's usually some part of the day every day, because there's just so many of them. And to do them all in one day would just be way too much. So there's not a day that goes by that I'm not doing something with the dolls. It's every single day. I remember one time I was walking with Chucky, and someone asked me, what would you do if Chucky came alive? And I said, I'd be thrilled. I was never like one of those scared kids or anything. I would wish they would come alive. It's probably weird to some people, but you know, that's just me.
Dinosaurs and man, 2 species separated by 65 million years of evolution, have just been suddenly thrown back into the mix together.
Could it be true? Are dinosaurs still roaming the earth? And could they be in, of all places, the mountains near Lake Tahoe?
The first thought that entered my mind was, I've disturbed something which I shouldn't have disturbed, something which should have been left alone.
Frank Sharrow is a building contractor from Gardnerville, Nevada. He and his wife Camille claim that they found a living, breathing, prehistoric creature. This is going to be good.
We're excavating for utility lines, service lines, and that's where we came across the find.
What I saw inside of it changed my life, will probably change my life for as long as I walk this planet. There were 5 large eggs, 2 of which were crusted up shells, broken shells, 2 of which were intact, and a 3rd one was broken, and that is the egg that contained a living animal.
Frank says he quickly called his wife Camille over so that she could snap these pictures. Sadly, they say the living creature died that day.
It just struggled to stay alive, struggled for breath, and then it died.
But fear not, there were still 2 eggs left. The Charros quickly transported the dead carcass and their prize eggs back to a shed located behind their house. Ever guess what happened next?
The eggs that were in our tool shed hatched, and whatever was inside of them escaped. When they hatched, they went through that sheet metal wall like it was paper. I mean, they went through it. They didn't claw their way out of it. They didn't bite their way out of it. They blew through it.
Understandably, Frank and Camille were dumbfounded by what they say happened to them, but they understand the seriousness of their find.
Think about the ramifications. Think about it. I mean, panic. You know what panic? And people, the first thing, the biggest thing that struck us, we don't want people out there shooting each other.
So naturally, they called not National Geographic, not the New York Times. They went to the Weekly World News, their favorite paper.
We're avid readers of the Weekly World News, and they deal in this sort of unordinary type stories.
You know, stories like this one about a vampire being alive today. The editors knew that the fossils were a journalistic discovery.
Down the road, you might find yourself with a whole nest of them, maybe 5 to 10 to 15 to 20. They may reproduce like rabbits.
Sure. Well, after the article, Frank and Camille became celebrities. They turned up on TV shows everywhere. One of them was John and Lisa.
It's too strange to believe.
I was sucked in, and I thought, man, these look like very, very normal people. Why do they have any reason to come on our show and pretend that they found the raptors?
By the end of their interview, John and Lisa say that they didn't believe the story. So we decided to go straight to the source. The Dinosaurs, that is. We paid a visit to Frank and Camille's hometown. We were on a dinosaur hunt.
You seen any dinosaurs around town?
Come on, you gotta be kidding. You're not afraid to go out at night?
No.
No fear?
No.
No fear of an Allosaurus coming up and biting you?
No.
Knowing what I know, I'm sure as hell not going to go up there without a weapon with me.
As for the Charros, all they seem to have are the pictures of these things. They say that they gave the dinosaur carcass and all the eggs to a dinosaur expert sent to them by the Weekly World News, who told them that it was an Allosaurus, a man-eater. So you know it must be true. But there's one problem. He's in Africa and no one can seem to find him. They say there was another person on the dig site with them, a laborer. Okay, finally someone who can back up their story.
I just call him Bob. I don't want to give a last name. But he's was working with us on that day, and he wanted no part of anything. And he's gone. Last I heard, he was in Los Angeles.
Rats. They say they called the sheriff's department. Perfect. They can help us.
I don't think I should give the officer's name without his permission.
Double rats. They must have called the wrong sheriff's office because the one that covers their county never heard from them. Wait a second, I know. Let's take a look at the shed with the hole. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's gone.
I got rid of the shed for the simple reason that the animals might have returned to the place of their origin, the place of their birth.
Well, we found our own dinosaur expert. He says that to make an egg, you need a mom. That's one mom you couldn't miss.
I think this is perfectly crazy. This is one of the most absurd claims I've ever heard. And until we have evidence, it really isn't believable.
So our dinosaur hunt failed. We found nothing. But you know, it's not so bad. We've waited 60 million years to see one. What's a few more?
These animals, if there's any intelligence to them, who knows what they are? Who knows that they don't have our scent? Who knows that one night I'm going to hear a noise out that window and there's going to be something out there that I don't want to see?
I actually feel much more comfortable cuddling with people than I do speaking with them.
They look like any ordinary couple sleeping peacefully in bed, but they're not really a couple at all. This woman is actually a professional snuggler. That's right, Jackie Samuel charges $60 an hour. In return, complete strangers can snuggle next to her in bed. Even women enjoy cuddling with Jackie.
People definitely tell me that they feel calmer and more connected afterwards.
The 29-year-old has started a company, the Snuggery, with the slogan, "Take a break, have a snuggle."
I initially started with a small advertisement in the Mind, Body, Spirit section of my paper, and people started calling pretty quickly. Then they come in, we go over policies, make sure we're on the same page, and then they fill out paperwork, and we just cuddle.
Her clients range in age from 18 to 83.
I think that the need for touch is a very basic and universal need, and I think that people do it because they're not getting that need met elsewhere. Some of the older clients, perhaps they lost their wife. I have some clients who travel a lot and they just want to come back and have like a consistent person they can cuddle with. Younger clients, maybe they're in a problematic relationship or in a break between, maybe between relationships. So everybody's got their own reason.
The single mom who lives near Rochester, New York, says there's absolutely no hanky-panky involved. And every client is carefully screened. The day we were there, she was going over snuggling session boundaries with a guy named John Husel.
I don't like to be touched anywhere the undergarments cover, and then I would do the same for you.
Jackie lights a candle and turns on soft music to create an intimate setting.
Would you prefer to spoon?
Would love to spoon.
Okay, great.
They get into bed and cozy up next to each other. This is John's third time nuzzling with Jackie.
I travel a lot, and it's nice to come home and have that snuggle buddy that's always there.
I think people feel calmer afterwards. I think they feel grounded. They feel more connected. They have someone to talk to. In some cases, people just want to talk. But I just think it's a nice, calming, soothing thing to do.
But Jackie's business is not without controversy. She's received nasty emails, some even calling her a prostitute.
If you don't like to do it, don't cuddle with me. Part of what I love about what I do is that I get to meet so many interesting people who I never would have met otherwise. So I've had professors, doctors, business people, computer people. It's just been, and then contractors and more like real people. Not that other people aren't real, but there's been such a wide variety. It's difficult to really say. Writers, musicians, it's difficult to really categorize them.
Don't adjust your TV set. This man's skin really is blue. He used to look like this, a good-looking young man with a shock of red hair. But after using a home remedy, Paul Carson looks like this.
Were you around my shade before?
Yeah, probably a little lighter.
So how did this happen? It all started when Paul was looking for a cure for flaky skin. Doing his own research, he read about drinking a solution of silver in water. At first, things were fine, but then Paul started rubbing it onto his skin, and it started turning blue.
When did you first realize that you were blue?
A friend that hadn't seen me in a while came by and asked me what I'd done to myself.
We compared our arms. Paul's used to be fairer than mine. Now it's a dull gray blue. And despite the change in his skin color, Paul kept drinking the stuff because he says it cured ailments like sinus problems and even arthritis. Paul showed me how he makes it.
I use distilled water, and then I take this apparatus here.
It looks like a high school science experiment. Paul attaches electrodes to a strand of silver wire. He sends a current into the water which extracts the silver. After about 15 minutes, the dissolved silver turns the water into a milky liquid. Paul's fiancée, Jackie, drinks the stuff too. But Jackie's skin looks normal because she says she never applied the silver directly to her face like Paul did. They met on the phone and she fell in love with him. Months later, she saw him for the first time, and she says even though she knew he was blue, it was still a shock.
Were you taken aback?
Very much so, yes. Yeah, I had to really look at it and keep looking at it and remember who I had talked to and who I had fallen in love with.
Paul says his blue skin has many advantages. He never sunburns and doesn't need to wear sunglasses. Here he is with his fiancée on a recent trip to New York City. But he also says there are some side effects he doesn't like.
Do you feel that you have been treated differently because you're blue?
Oftentimes. Some of the people were less than polite.
But despite everything, Paul says he has no regrets about using his silver remedy.
If you could change back to the way you were, would you do it?
I'm not sure.
Really?
Really?
He shocked the world 4 years ago. A man who turned his skin the color blue.
Amazing story. I've never heard of anything like that.
This is a first on the Oprah show. He really is blue.
This California man is blue, literally.
But whatever happened to Paul Carson, the guy who will forever be known as Blue Man? Sadly, he's fallen on hard times. Paul even lost his home and had no choice but to move into this homeless shelter.
I really had no other place to go.
A series of crises landed Paul on the streets. He battled prostate cancer and heart problems, broke up with his fiancée, and couldn't get a job.
People are rather reluctant to hire blue people or people that are noticeably different.
So he left Madeira, California, and returned to his hometown of Bellingham, Washington, where he moved into the Lighthouse Mission Shelter. It houses 40 homeless people. But going back to his hometown turned out to be an inspired idea. Blue Man has a girlfriend. Paul first knew Joanne Elkins 47 years ago in junior high. There's Paul in the yearbook, and there's Joanne in a beauty pageant around the same time. Paul got in touch with Joanne, and she helped him move out of the shelter. Now they live together.
He's quite the guy despite the fact that he's blue.
Sad news about the man who achieved fame as the Blue Man. Paul Carrison has died at age 62. Carrison shocked the world 5 years ago when he came forth as the man whose skin had literally turned blue. As a young man growing up in Washington State, Carrison's complexion was completely normal. His skin turned blue after he sought a cure for flaky skin. Doctors told him there was no hope of reversing the pigmentation, and life was never easy for the man whose fame was skin deep.
People are rather reluctant to hire blue people or people that are noticeably different.
He's quite the guy despite the fact that he's blue.
That's Carrison's wife, Joanne. Carrison died of a heart attack and a stroke in a Washington hospital on Monday.
Birthday to you. It's one of the most unusual birthday parties you will ever see. Ronnie and Donnie Galen are the oldest conjoined twins in the world. Today they're turning 61, and that means they're beating the odds, living longer than anyone ever expected. Ronnie and Donnie are joined at the sternum. They agree on nearly everything they do, except watching TV. The brothers have separate televisions. The conjoined twins live in Dayton, Ohio, and support themselves partly from the money they earn by traveling the world. Today, the twins prepare for a special day of birthday celebration, first by shaving each other. Next, the twins get dressed, and their brother Jim and his wife Mary help the brothers put on their matching shirts. Mary explains how she makes their four-legged pants.
I take two pair of pants and I take them apart, and then I sew a panel in the middle.
Then they slip into their custom-made wheelchair.
Oh, like I said, we're lovey-dovey.
And it's off to the Golden Nugget Cafe for a delicious birthday breakfast.
Happy birthday!
After some birthday kisses from the staff, the brothers enjoy their favorite meal, eggs, biscuits, and gravy.
I love them because they've taken something that most of us probably could not deal with, and they've dealt with it like kings, and they're beautiful people.
The Hot Wheels and Matchboxes.
Then it's time for a birthday shopping spree.
Does that work?
Yes.
Okay.
They choose lots of Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars and head to the checkout.
Today I'm 61.
Well, happy birthday!
They place their bags of birthday loot safely on their laps. Meantime, at their home, preparations for their party are underway. Guests anxiously await their arrival.
Okay, you're on your way?
When the brothers arrive, they're welcomed by birthday cheers.
Happy birthday!
And what's a party without more gifts and birthday cake?
Birthday to you.
Their own doctor attends the landmark event.
You guys keep breaking new ground. They've made it to be the oldest living male conjoined twins, and they are also the oldest living conjoined twins to this date.
Their brother attributes their longevity to their positive spirit.
I love you, buddy.
I love you too, man.
Every year for them is a milestone, frankly, in that they weren't expected to make it out of the hospital. A lot of it is their fighting spirit.
Happy birthday, brother.
It's chaos at Octomom's house as Nadia Suleiman decides to give her 8 toddlers swimming lessons all at once. Our cameras were allowed into her dilapidated, crayon-covered walled home in Orange County, California, as the frenzied mom prepares for the lessons.
In a line. Everybody get out.
First step, applying sunscreen to her 2-year-old octuplets. But not everyone wants to be lathered up. After a reassuring kiss, it's time to move on to arm floaties, and that goes even worse. Octomom gives up on the inflatable armbands and heads straight to her backyard for the swimming lessons in her above-ground pool. But soon, a chorus of crying breaks out as her little ones resist taking the plunge. Finally, the 36-year-old mom drags two of her kids into the pool, but that's not the right move either. The poor swim instructor looks on, unable to start the lessons, until finally, little Malia agrees to be held in the pool.
Kick, babe, there you go. Kick, kick.
Now the big moment. Will she put her head underwater?
1, 2, 3.
Success! It looks like she's actually starting to enjoy the lesson.
Hey, you did it. You did it. Good girl.
But how will it go for the other 7 kids? It's turbulent waters as the determined mom brings one crying child after another into the pool. Little by little, the hardworking mom manages to calm some of her kids, assuring them they are safe.
I am safe.
After a few hours, Nadia decides swimming lessons are over. And get this, she actually says the ordeal was nothing compared to the rest of her hectic schedule.
This is actually pretty easy. It's much harder actually because I won't have a friend over. I'll be with my 14 kids by myself. Usually on the weekends, 100%.
She says she only sleeps 3 or 4 hours a night because she's terrified about her family's safety.
I have a lot of, anxiety issues and panic because of hundreds of death threats from the first couple years and stalkers and all. You wouldn't believe what I've been through.
But what about the rundown condition of her home? Nadia admits she's too permissive with her older kids, allowing them to draw anywhere and crash their scooters into the walls.
This is not an adult house. This is a very dilapidated, torn up, hole-ridden, Picasso on the wall children's house.
But she emphasizes she loves her kids more than anything in the world. She wanted to set the record straight about that In Touch magazine interview where she was recorded saying babies disgust her.
I absolutely am disgusted by babies. They make me sick. I couldn't even imagine. I don't even look at them. I have to look the other way.
Nadia says it was all a joke.
There was this crazy thing that I said, I do not like babies. I was being dry. I was really being kind of sarcastic when I said I didn't mean it. I love children. I love all kids, all babies.
So with her love of babies, would she consider having any more?
No, thank you. Baby factory closed permanently.
It's the return of Octomom and all 8 of her famous brood of octuplets.
How old are you guys turning?
8.
Inside Edition was invited to their 8th birthday party. And as you'd expect at a birthday party for 8 kids, joyful chaos reigned.
Are you guys excited? Yeah!
Natalie Suleiman, who used to be known as Nadia, has her hands full.
Hi, guys. Wake up. I'm going to get the girls up, okay?
In addition to the octuplets, Natalie is raising 6 older children. In total, 14 kids. Yikes. Home is a small 3-bedroom townhouse outside Los Angeles.
I have embraced every day an attitude of gratitude.
At 6 a.m., everyone is up and ready to start the day. School bags and lunches are good to go. Chaotic, yes, but each child has a chore. Some help with breakfast.
How many bowls do we have there on the table, guys? Okay, good. We're good.
Others are on laundry duty.
It's kind of messy, but we're a really strong, solid family unit, unbeknownst to what many people believe.
Natalie drives her children to school and other activities in a white van.
Help? I don't get any help. I haven't had any help for many, many, many years.
Happy birthday to you.
Back at the party, the kids celebrate turning 8 with what else? Chocolate cake.